Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Whatnauts review show, where each week we have a different story to talk about. Could be a comic, movie, manga, who knows what. We rate it, watch it, do what we have to do, come back here and talk about it. This is episode 86. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson.
Hi, Kyle.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was good. It was very quiet because my parents are in the middle of this big kitchen renovation. They're like, well, we can cook a turkey in the smoker and we can microwave green bean casserole. So this is what we're going to make. And we don't have a table. So we're all going to eat on our laps on the couch, which is what we do anyway. But, like, we had to this time.
That's a good, like, family style, though.
Yeah.
Just like, let's just gather around and sit on the floor and eat and stuff like that. It's good. It's fun. Lots of relaxing.
Yeah, we just watched the whole parade, the whole dog show. And then I asked my parents if they wanted to watch a movie, and Dad said, well, I haven't seen Endgame yet. And I'm like, okay, Endgame, which I like, but I'm like, okay, that's a lot of emotions to prepare myself for. And he's like, it's on Netflix, right? And I'm like, no, it is Disney Plus is the exclusive streaming home of Avengers Endgame.
Is that one still on Netflix, or is it on Disney?
Endgame is on Disney Plus. Turns out they were talking about Infinity War. And I'm like, you told me you saw Infinity War. And they're like, no, we've never seen this. So they might have told might have watched Civil War and told me the wrong name. I don't know if they got the names right for any of these. I don't know. But we had a nice family time watching just half the MCU get wiped away. My mother was very upset.
There we go. At least that means she's into it, though.
She says she's never gonna watch a movie with war in the title again.
War no more. Well, my Thanksgiving was very cut short. I got very sick Thursday afternoon. Ended up like throwing my guts up multiple times. Was like shaking and convulsing and stuff like that. I felt like I was gonna die. It was not fun. I didn't get to eat all of that stuff. I just like completely missed it all. But I will tell more about that on the Captain's Log this next week.
Again.
Because, that was a
sequel to the episode from earlier this year where you told us the time you almost threw up on a girl.
Yep. Like, that one was literally entitled, Kyle Almost Threw Up. This next one will be called Kyle Threw Up.
I don't know if that's going to bring in the big audiences, Kyle. I don't know if that's the content people are seeking.
Well, let's get on to what we're supposed to be talking about this week, which is an anime by the name of The Devil is a Part-Timer. I pitched this one, and Melissa, you were the one that picked it. What stood out about this one? What made you pick this one?
It's just a title I've been hearing for a while. And, wow, it was about time I saw what it actually was.
Yeah. It's enough of an interesting title where you're just like, huh? What is that? That's weird. Okay.
Yeah, I knew the premise, like, Satan works at a fake McDonald's. But I didn't know anything else.
Yeah. I had seen it on Netflix. I think I may have pitched this one before when I had a theme once that was just like, I found a bunch of anime with ridiculous titles, and this is one of them, of just like, The Devil is a Part-Timer. Just without context, that's just like, wait, what?
Oh, he's only
what
evil
is
sometime.
going on here? Right, yeah.
He's where evil.
Yes, exactly. Only on the full moon and when he's wearing a red shirt. So I picked this one to pitch. Picked it to pitch it. And here we are. We're going to talk a bit about it. It was short. It was only 13 episodes. What did you think?
I was expecting this to be a lot more of a sitcom than it ended up being.
Okay.
Like, based on that premise, I was expecting something just really wacky, just like a really oddball little, like, workplace comedy. And it is so much more of, well, Satan and his demons came over from this alternate fantastical medieval world, and they're stuck, through the portal, and they're stuck in modern day Japan, and they have to figure out how to live, and an angel followed them, and it's just their everyday social lives. The McDonald's part of it is like 20%, and I was expecting like 80% McDonald's.
I have to agree with you. I think the title is very misleading for what it ended up being. I think overall for me, I was disappointed in this show. I think that's a good way to put it. Just like I was disappointed.
I liked it. It ended up charming me, but I do kind of wish it was just a workplace sitcom about the devil at a McDonald's.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised at first, because that's basically how it starts out. It does the exposition thing, which starts you off just like, hey, there was this big war thing that happened. There were these kingdoms, and then the Fire Nation attacked, and then Satan got trapped on Earth, and now he has to survive. And that's a great start to a show. I was like, okay, I can get behind this. And he takes a job at McRonald's, which is their version of McDonald's.
Yep, they have MgRonald's. Their rival is a Kentucky Fried Chicken. And at one point, they go to a Moonbucks coffee store, which has a hot merman on the logo.
There you go. And yeah, like that premise, I'm sold on. That sounds hilarious. That sounds fantastic. And then the way they ended up carrying that out is it is this, the devil is this like super powerful, he has a whole bunch of magic stuff. Here on Earth, he doesn't really have that magic, but he still is taking things way too seriously. So just stuff of just like trying to be the employee of the month, he like takes overly seriously, and it's just like, this is actually kind of funny. I like this.
When he has so little magic left, and he's like, do I dare use my magic to charm these customers into buying the black pepper fries so that our store can sell the most black pepper fries in our entire region? Do I dare do this with my power? That's what I liked. I wanted more of that.
Yeah. And then unfortunately, overall, it ends up kind of shying away from that. And it is more of their social lives, which is not too much of a stretch, but then it also focused on more of the war that was happening, that the church is wielding. And I think that is, in my opinion, by far the least interesting thing of the whole show.
Way more of that supernatural mythology to this than I was expecting. I was expecting just like, hey, he's the devil, don't worry about it. He's stuck as a normal human form, has to get his job. That's it. That's all we're giving you. There's a lot of detail in this. They spend a lot of time on like, these larger than life hero and villain roles that the characters played in their fantasy world they came from, and like how those are psychologically affecting them, and how that affects how their more normal human social lives are going now that they're stuck in Japan.
Right. Yeah. I think that kind of covers the synopsis though too,
Yeah.
right? Of just like there was this war that the church in a I mean I guess it's not really a spoiler, but it's a alternate dimension kind of.
Yeah. It has this,
they didn't really explain
yeah,
that
it has this
exactly,
kind of like
but
medieval Europe aesthetic to it.
yeah, and there's this war going on there, and Satan is fighting against the church, and something happens. I don't remember exactly what, but he gets trapped on our planet. He gets trapped on Earth, and he's stuck here. And because there's a lot less magic here, he's not at his full strength, and so he just looks like an everyday, normal person. What if Satan was one of us?
Just a slob like one of us.
Just a slob like one of us. And that's kind of it. Did you have anything else you want to add to that?
Not really. I think we can go ahead, do a little housekeeping, and then get into a bigger discussion about it.
Cool. Housekeeping. If you did not know, we have multiple podcasts here at the Whatnauts. You guys can go check them out on our website, thewhatnauts.com. I know I mentioned the captain's log, and I would be sharing my story of how I got sick over Thanksgiving on our episode that we're going to be recording this weekend, so it'll be out next week by the time this goes public. So yeah, go check out stuff like that on our website, as well as your podcasting platform of choice. Just type in the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up. If you like what we do, patreon.com/the Whatnauts is where you can support us. For as little as $1 a month, you guys can get episodes early. You guys can get access to the live streams of this podcast. We do these on YouTube for our Patreon supporters at the $1 tier. At the $3 tier, you can get all sorts of exclusive content. We finally put up our trivia night, in which Melissa and I quizzed each other on a whole bunch of stuff, from Disney trivia to cyberpunk trivia to actors and directors and all sorts of stuff. It was a lot of fun. Go check it out. But we also want to give a big shout out to our Patreon supporters at the $5 tier. So thank you, Sam, and thank you, Christine, for helping us out. We love you both a lot. And that's it. The house has been kept. Let's get on to spoilers. The spoiler thing gonna work? Kind of. It's in a little.
Oh no! It just says Euler.
Here. Everything is all messed up. It's just smaller. It's not spanning the whole thing. I tried to do the social media stuff too, and instead of being like down at the bottom here, I guess I don't. Where is it here? Oh well. Instead of being at the bottom, they were just like smaller and like right up here. Oh, not fun. But yeah, where do you want to start? Where or
so
what?
What did you really like about this show? Like, once you figured out the show is not playing by the rules I thought it was going to play by, did it end up charming you?
Yeah. Like I said, overall, disappointed. But it's because I was so pleasantly surprised at the start, and the moments that were really good, that gave me what I wanted, were fantastic. And it was just like, they have it.
They do.
They know how to do it. Just give me more of this. And I liked I think this scene is pretty much right at the start, where he takes the fries out of the fryer, and he realizes that he didn't cook them long enough, but he's already dumped them out, and so he's like, do I somehow kind of put them back in? What do I do? And it's like he just has this like crisis of conscience of just how to do the simplest. Yeah, dude, just put them back in. It's fine. Like, but he's just like, what will they think of me? What will I do? How do I do it? Can I get away with it without anyone noticing? Right? And it's just like, I like that because it's fun. Like he's this over the top character.
But he also kind of isn't.
Incredibly mundane. Whoa, what was that?
He also kind of isn't. Like, for being the devil, he's mostly just a mild-mannered guy who's really into this McDonald's shift manager job that he gets.
Which is kind of what I'm getting at. Like, he is this, like, all-powerful, magical Satan thing, disguised, kind of, as this normal person. But then he's also put in these, like, really mundane situations where it's like, hey, we need to sell more of the peppercorn fries or whatever their featured item is. And he just takes it so seriously. And it's so funny to see him like, dude, it's not that big of a deal.
I was expecting
like, no one cares.
I was expecting him to be begrudgingly at this job. Like, oh, this is what I have to do to survive here. I hate it. These customers are annoying. Don't you know who I am? I have all this almighty power. No, he takes it seriously. And he doesn't do anything really that devilish at it. You could take the devil part out of it almost entirely, and it would just be fairly normal man wants to do good at job. It's almost like SpongeBob. That's the plot of him. Is
kind of a good idea for a show. Like, just like the drama and the gossip and just the useless stuff that people have to put up with in their day-to-day jobs. And just heighten them somehow. That, like, here's someone that takes them so seriously. It, like, I kind of just want that slice of life. But then it was like, here's the magic using kingdom of Churchville.
It's called Inte-Isla, but I like Churchville.
Right. It's right next to Farmville. That Facebook game. But then, like, I also don't mind seeing more of their social life, of them going to the water park and stuff like that. Or there's some, like, local town fair where they have to put extra staff at another location because they know that one's gonna be the central, one. It's right there in the park. I like that stuff. Like, I like seeing them do that. I like seeing them learning to cook and navigate a grocery store or online shopping from jungle.com instead of Amazon.
Jungle.co.jp. I think I like the workplace stuff the best. And then the social stuff and the fantasy stuff. Well, I appreciate, like, the level of detail they put into that they really could have gotten by without. They worked really hard on it, and I appreciate it. But that was where I tended to, like, glass over the most because it's impressive for the amount of detail that's there that you're not expecting. But otherwise, I don't think there's anything really special about this angels and demons fighting each other, and then they have to go through a portal to modern day Japan. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It didn't feel like really cliched or hackneyed to me or anything, but it also doesn't feel like there's nothing about this that grabs me. It's only the McDonald's part that grabs me.
Exactly. So I wanted to note that we covered the anime adaptation, which, let's see, is Directed by Naoto Hosoda, written by Masahiro Yokotani, and made by Studio White Fox. But this started as a series of novels.
Novels
is what it originally was. Yeah, according to Wikipedia, let me scroll down here. The Devil is a Part-Timer began as a light novel series written by Satoshi Wagahara, with illustrations by the artist 029. They, in parentheses, have Oniku. I don't know if that's the name or another moniker. But let's see. Wagahara originally entered the first novel in the series, originally titled... I am not going to pronounce that in Japanese because I'm going to butcher it. The English version is The Devil's Fortress is a single room with 6 tatami mats! ! But yeah, it's like a series of these novels that all start out with the devil, and then the title goes on to say something else. So, for example, the devil focuses on his career for monetary purposes. Like, it's just like, even the names are so mundane and silly. The devil's finances are shored up by a helpful neighbor. I
thrilling to me. I will grab it off the bookshelf.
Right. But yeah, there's like 24 of those novels. Then there was a manga, 15 volumes that started back in 2012. There was, I guess it's a parallel manga. It looks like all of these novels and mangas were written by the same guy. The second manga series was only 5 volumes and is entitled The Devil is a Part-Timer High School.
The Devil is a Part-Timer Coffee Shop. The Devil is a Part-Timer Body Switch.
Well, it's The Devil is a Part-Timer ! High school!
High school! !
High
school!
Which in my mind just means that somehow all of the characters magically got de-aged, and they now have to like hide in high school.
Hide there.
Yeah, right. And then there's the anime, which we covered, and then there's another manga, again written by the original creator, that started in August of 2019, so not too long ago. But yeah, like it seems like, I don't know, I feel like these almost might work better as the novels. And not that the novels wouldn't have the whole stuff about the church and the war that they're hiding, but I feel like the focus of that, like making that kind of the focus of the show, is them being like, hey, we want this to appeal to young boys, like young teens.
Yeah, I see that.
Right? We want to fight. And he has a harem of young women.
I want to talk
him.
about this harem.
Yes.
Because I like that this is not... There's women around him, but there's only one who has a crush on him. Emmy...
Debatable,
Emmy,
but yeah.
like, never really gets a crush on him. Not the way you think they are initially being set up to be. Like when her character is first introduced and he like gives her that umbrella on the street because it's raining and she's getting wet, and he's like, here, take my umbrella, and he like nervously rides away on his bike, and then it's like, oh, that's the hero from my world, she followed me here. Like, you think you're getting set up for they're going to have crushes on each other. They're going to hate to admit it. And it never...
I think they kind of are,
It never
though.
gets that over...
It's going to be a slow burn.
It never gets that overt, though. It never entirely ends up there. It's more like a joke that other characters will make about them than it is them being like, oh, I like them, but I can't show them that. Like, there's nothing internal about it very much. And then when, what's the girl in the kimono? What's her name?
I don't remember. I just called her a kimono woman.
Everybody has like two names because they've got their fantasy world name and then their Japan name, and so like they cancel each other out. And I'm like, I don't remember what anybody's name is.
Suzuno Kamizuki.
She also seems like, oh, she's gonna get a crush on the devil,
next door neighbor,
and she doesn't either. She has a crush on him from the very beginning, and it really stays like just her. And she never, like, she's kind of upset when it looks like Suzuno's making him bento box lunches is like a cute sign of affection. And she's like, well, I wanted to do that. She's kind of upset, but she never gets, like, angry at Suzuno. There's no rivalry. There's no traditional love triangles. Those three girls are pretty decent friends. I like that you think you're getting set up for, okay, all these girls are gonna have a crush on the devil, and it's like, no, it's really just that one. Okay.
I feel like I read that a little differently. Not by much though, but like I can see them all being fairly good friends just because they all kind of don't know anything about the world, and they're like, hey, you're also from my world, so we have this connection and stuff, and we're all learning together, right? But then there is this like strange rivalry between them, this competition to not necessarily vie for the devil's affections. Or I guess his name is what, Sadao, or however you say it. They're not necessarily all trying to be his love interest, but they're all somehow, for some reason, wanting his attention or wanting to kind of isolate him from other people to protect the other people. And so it seems like they're wanting his affection or something. Like, I want him to myself so that no one else gets hurt.
Yes.
Right? Or like, I want him to myself because I like him. Or I want him to myself because it's my mission to kill him. Yeah. And I don't want anyone else to kill him.
It's my job.
But me. Yeah.
There is that going on, and there is like miscommunication about that, like how Emmy thinks that Suzuno does have a crush on Sadao, and she's like, I don't think it's a good idea to get very close to him. And she thinks she's telling this girl it was a crush on the neighbor. And then later Suzuno's like, oh, no, I thought you knew who I was. And I thought you were like, don't worry, I have this mission of killing the devil handled. What, you didn't know I'm also here to kill the devil? So there's like some, miscommunication and tension around that. But I like that there is no romantic tension that is like making these girls fight with each other or driving them apart. Like, Emmy is jealous of how big Chi's boobs are, but it's not like to attract the devil's attention. It's just for her own self generally in life. Like, oh dang, why don't I have those? Great.
Which I have to say, that was maybe the thing that made me the most uncomfortable in the show, because she's 16 years old, and that's maybe one of the only jokes that they have in the show, besides like the situational comedy. There's this visual joke of, hey, here's this high schooler with really big boobs.
It's not great, although I imagine in the wider scope of anime, it is middling when it comes to fan service. It's not great, but it's not terrible. And I do have to say that unless it's like kind of cartooned up for effect. Her boobs are very realistically proportioned and shaped. Like, she comes on screen and I'm like,
yeah.
I could see a real person who looks like this. Like, this doesn't look that wild. She looks like a very normal real person, just with larger features.
It's not like the ones you've seen where they're all just like,
it's not doing that, except for like one or two like comedic over-exaggerated reaction shots. So I like that about it. I'm like, well, you didn't have to do this, but at least you're doing it with some level of restraint.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things, like, I don't think they had to make that character in high school.
Yeah,
But it's also one of those things of, like, I don't necessarily know their culture exactly on where they draw the line, so it might not be as much of a big idea, but even still, it's like, she's only 6, like, we know for a fact that she is 16 years old. Regardless of what your culture is or where they draw the line, that's way too young.
Yeah, and it's also, like, never exactly clear on how old, like, Sadao is, or at least how old he is on paperwork in this world. He may be centuries of years old, you know, psychologically, but, like, whatever it is he, like, wrote down on this paperwork that he had to con up for himself, like...
I was going to say, I'm assuming somewhere in his 20s, because they mentioned that Lucifer, one of the other characters, is 18.
Yeah, like, they put him on the paperwork as 18, and Sadao is this guardian. But I'm like, 18, 19, 20, 21, like, it never exactly nails it down for me, and I wish I would have had that. I would have, even if it's not good, I wish I had a number to hang this on.
Yeah, we also don't get any scenes of Chi, like, in school or doing school things. So, like, it really would have been an easy fix for American audiences to just be like, she's in college.
Yeah, she's a, freshman, sophomore in community college. Or something.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, her being in high school doesn't add anything to the story except that she has a uniform. I think that's all you get out of it. I will say that she might have been my favorite character. She is very...
I actually really liked her, despite the like, okay.
God, we get it.
Mentioned that joke once before.
She is... pun not intended but acknowledged, she's very well-rounded as a character. She's not just like a one-time visual gag. She has like very legitimate affection for the devil, but she's so much more than like just being this cute young coworker with a crush on him. Like she's like she shows up once she figures out what's going on. She's holds her own about it. She tries to be a good friend, not just to him, but to Emmy, to everybody else in that group. She really tries to be like kind-hearted. She wants to be good at her job, not just to impress her boss, but just, this is my job and I want to be good at it. And I want to make sure that I cook the fries correctly and I don't drop them on the ground.
Yeah. I think one of her standout moments for me was when she confronts, and I think it was Suzuno Kamazuki, the kimono one, I think. But yeah, like she's about to fight Emmy, and then she steps up and has this big speech of like, hey, no, like you guys shouldn't be fighting, like all this stuff. And that was like, this is a great moment, like good character moment. I don't care about the whole like fight stuff, but just like, this is good for her character to show that she is not just this ditzy, top heavy young high school schooler, right? She actually knows what she's doing, and she's smart. So I did end up liking this cast of characters, and I like how they all kind of
grew, how the cast expanded, because it starts with just there's Lucifer and Alciel, which is his demon name, and Ashia is his Japan name, right?
Yeah, let me look it up. Shiro, Ashia, and Alciel.
So there's them. He's like his demon general who follows him through this portal to Japan. And then you find out, oh, Amelia, the hero, is here. And then there's this coworker I have. And then whoops, Lucifer, slipped through the portal too. And here's this mysterious girl who moved into the apartment next to ours. Like, I like how it, couple episodes by couple episodes, they keep adding people and like really gelling the core cast.
Yeah. I also want to point out something really funny. So it says that Alciel is his like demon name, right? Wikipedia also mentions his like Earth name, which is Shiro Ashia, and then the other characters that have like both names also have their stuff. So Emi Yusa, her Earth name is Amelia Justina. And then Sadao Mao, I'm not sure how you say that exactly. His Earth name is, I get not his Earth name, but his Ente.
Yeah, Ente Isla.
Name. Satan Jacob. Good old Mr. Jacob.
Like, that's first name Satan, middle name Jacob.
Satan Lucifer Jacob. The third. I just saw that. I was like, this is stupid. This is so funny. I love it. Oh boy. Now I just lost what we were talking about.
I was talking about how I liked how the cast
that.
of characters would like grow and coalesce
right.
into the main unit we were always supposed to have. That landlady, when she first shows up, doesn't she feel like, oh, this is going to be a major series antagonist? And then she disappears.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm going to go on vacation. And then I'm going to mail you a bunch of these souvenirs, like a whole warehouse full of souvenirs that she wants.
The town rummage sale for me. Like, I got them at a deal. See if you can turn a price on these. Sell them to all the people here in Japan who have never seen them before.
Like, I kind of want to know more about her.
She seems like there's something about her where she knows something. Like, she's got this real, like, sly look to her. And I don't know if it's just like, oh, and now just like she's being like the sassy old lady, like, oh no, now I have these handsome young boys who are boarding in my house. Like, is it just that, or I can get them to do all these chores for me, and they're handsome, and like, is it that, or is it like, yes, these are people here for my evil machinations? Like, do you have legit plans? Like, do you have supernatural stuff going on too? Or are you just like a weird eccentric old lady? Just excited if some hunks around.
Yeah. Because it is like, there is that whole weird thing of like, she sent them the photos of her in her bikini. And they're just freaked out by it. They're like, this is gross and disgusting and stuff. And it's like, it's one that's also not a very funny moment, but it's just like, it's this weird thing where it's like, why are you that grossed out by it? Like, you should it's hard for me to separate Satan in this manga from Satan of like Christian myth of like, when I die, maybe I'll go to heaven, maybe I'll go to hell, and Satan
So he's
will be
got
whipping
his
my
two
ass.
goat legs and his big devil horns, and he's, I don't know, breathing fire. That guy has seen bikinis. Yes.
Like, that's the thing. Yes, I'm sure he's seen a lot less than that too. But it, like, that's the thing. Like, I have this baggage, I guess, of just like, Satan, you should know what all of this
you're not just
does,
evil,
what it
but
all
you
looks
are,
like.
you know, sin. Eyebrow waggle, sin.
Yeah, like, even in Ante Isla, or whatever it's called, they have humanoid things. I don't know if those are exactly human. I guess they don't say exactly, but we're meant to assume that they are. But like, sure,
they're human enough.
But like,
human enough.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like people look different, or he comes from a place where everyone is monsters or stuff like that. It's just like, you know what this is.
Yeah.
Like, that's a person.
Like we are skeptical that you have never just seen some like old lady boobs before. Like, you must have. You must have.
Yeah. And like, you would think he would be fine with it, of just like, well, hey, do what you want.
Yeah, that's his whole deal.
They're coming my way anyways. Like, but yeah, like that, I somehow that factored into me being like, well, I don't know if she is this like secret character that is going to, oh, I actually know who they are, and I set this whole thing up that they would be in my apartment and stuff like that. I don't think she has a secret agenda, but I also don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it seemed like there was something going on with her, and I felt like this show could have used like 2 or 3 more episodes to kind of tie things up, because it just sort of stops. It just stops.
Well, considering there's like 24 novels and 15, 20 volumes of the manga, plus whatever this new one is going to be, like, they have a lot of material to work with. But I know that this anime came out in 2013.
Wow.
So, who knows? It doesn't look like they'll be getting season 2.
What's McDonald's selling now? What are the new McFlurries?
Right?
All I want is to find out what their fake name for a McFlurry is. Do they have like their own Ronald McDonald characters? Like, it's Donald McGonald.
Like the ham bandit instead of the ham burglar. Instead of Grimace, it's Grimstone or something like that. I don't know.
Speaking of Grimace, this is unrelated. I went to Old Navy to hit up some good Black Friday sales, and I got this like really nice professional looking dress. Like, I can wear this to work.
Okay.
I can wear this to a cocktail party, to a wedding. It's casual enough. I could just wear it like to lunch. Good all-purpose dress. And it's this like lovely like dark purple color, and it's like sleeveless, and it has this like pencil skirt, and it's like real form-fitting. I'm like, this is great. And I take it home and I try it on. I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, I am now the size and shape of Grimace.
Oh no.
Grimace is like one of my heroes, so that ain't bad. I'm just like, oh, well, I've become what I was always meant to become. I am Grimace. It's me. Local Grimace trying to impress the client at a business meeting. Oh, I'm gonna wear my Grimace dress.
There you go. let's talk about James from Team Rocket.
God. I'm so happy you also noticed this.
It was the first thing I noticed about him. So, what's his name?
I don't know. He's the manager
his
of
name.
the Kentucky Fried Chicken. When we were watching Sweetness and Lightning and you were talking about how one of the girls had like Sailor Moon hair, like really close to Sailor Moon hair, but the show like doesn't mention anything about it, even though it's established that the little girl loves magical girl anime. And you're like, is somebody going to make a joke about this? Is anybody going to talk about it? That is very clearly Sailor Moon hair. I'm sitting here also like that, and I know this. That is exactly, precisely, not just similar, like color and shape. No, that is the James from Team Rocket haircut. Exactly. Exact same Pantone color swatch.
That's like, it's the first thing that I saw. I was like, this is, like, I kind of really like this. That it's not only this, like, there is this slice of life moment. I mean, there is this inherent comedy, right, of having, like, two competing things, like being, like, right next
it's like
door
Good Burger
or right
and Mondo Burger.
Across the street. Yeah, exactly. Or the audio drama podcast wooden overcoats. And it's so funny to see that happen, and I liked that. But then he looks like James from just Team Rocket. Like, I want more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want his manager to look like someone else in some other anime. And
I'm gonna have
just,
to
like,
ask my manager,
more...
Guyo.
Yeah, right?
He's a dice game champion.
Yeah, like, I want more stuff like that, where it's not mentioned, but it's a visual thing. Like, oh my god, is that James from Team Rocket? Did he get kicked off and now has to work in fast food? Like, because that makes it so much fun to kind of figure out how something like that would actually happen if that was actually James. But it was not. I don't remember what his actual name was. But
because
there you go.
Little fake parody names.
He's a creep too.
Yeah. The little fake parody names are like gold in this series. And I do wish there was more of that. Like, I found the characters charming. I like the nuances of the relationships that they had. I liked how this was not what I expected it to be. I'm expecting this wacky harem anime with the devil at the center, and oh no, all these girls they don't see each other as rivals. They are good friends. People are kind to each other. Like, I like all of that, but also that is, even as good as it is, that is not necessarily better than wacky devil works at McDonald's workplace comedy, where like everything's a fake name. I'm going to go down to Wandy's and see how they're doing their burgers over there.
Yeah. Oh, man. I wish would have just stuck with that. Like, him just vying to get a promotion to, like, immaculately clean the windows and mop the floor just to get his manager's
I want him to go in a ball pit.
Yeah, like having to do something like that, having to deal with really, really picky customers or just really obnoxious people.
Or like everybody's in there trying to collect these joyful meal toys. You know, like when they had the mini Beanie Babies and everybody went like bananas for them. I want that. I want him to deal with the mini Beanie Babies crisis.
So, right? This is a girl's toy, not a boy's toy. My son is a boy.
The pony is a majestic steed for everyone, sir. All children, take the devil's horse.
It's not a pony, it's a majestic steed, right? I want more of that. However, I guess I haven't been to a fast food. I've not been to Japan, so I've not been to like a fast food restaurant over there, and what I don't know what the culture is like there. From what I understand, it's a lot better. Like, it's a lot more immaculate. Like, they're all helpful, and stuff, and everyone is there acting like they want to do their job, right? And they're not just like, I hate my life, I don't want to be here. And that is absolutely reflected in this show, where he's super happy, he's super helpful, and like they do the thing where it's like, oh, we need to do some fun team building thing to get in more customers, right? Let's make decorations and stuff. It's like, that would never happen at the Burger King down the street from my house. You would never in a million years see that. So I like that stuff. I would like to see them show both aspects of that somehow.
Like, I think if this was, the wacky McDonald's comedy hour that we're talking about, if it was that, we might still be like, I wish these characters had more depth. Like, I'd really like to see what those two girls talk about and if they're friends after hours, which is what this show gave us. Like, it's the social stuff I really like. I just would have liked the other parts of it recalibrated so that it's less like sword and sorcery fantasy adventure,
right,
and more McNuggets.
Give me the McNuggets. Let's see. I wanted to just briefly mention Lucifer.
Yeah.
I thought he was a pretty good character as well. He is more of the otaku, stay at home, play video games all day. I'm sure somehow he's making money off of that somehow, and it just hasn't been revealed yet. And at the same time, like, he's not telling them, so he's still like asking them for
bring me home the
money
good
and
takeout.
food and stuff like that.
He's just a brat sitting over there eating shrimp chips or whatever. One of my favorite bits in the show is when Suzuno is bringing them over. Like, she's just moved in and she thinks, like, this is the traditional gift for neighbors. I'm going to bring you noodles. And she keeps bringing them boxes and boxes and boxes of noodles. And it's just like, in one shot, like, it's not talked about, it's just drawn in there that Lucifer has taken a bunch of these boxes and taped them together so it's just a box tube, and he's laying
a sleeping bag
on the ground inside this like box tube that he's taped together, and you just see it like twice. It's like, they have such good attention to detail and like funny little character bits like that. It is really strong. But as we keep talking about, there's just a call for like salty, greasy fast food nonsense.
Yes. Yeah. I forget what we were talking about. It was on another episode, but yeah, it's kind of the idea of they have all of the ingredients there. Maybe not in the right proportions, or they put too much salt, or there's too much of there's too much
Whoops,
tomatoes.
I emptied out the entire jar of boob sauce onto this. Although I will say,
can you please define boob
it's a metaphor,
sauce?
Kyle. I do like that in the last episode, the second to last episode, like, Lucifer, he's wearing his uniform and he's about to get in a fight, and he's like, I gotta take my uniform off. I can't let my uniform get damaged.
Respect
so
the uniform.
Also, like, he's there in his boxers, he's shirtless. When he's in his powered up devil form, he gets real buff. Like, there's a little sprinkling of beefcake in there among the cheesecake. And I'm like, okay, you're getting more fair with this. An attempt was made.
Yeah, because they're also like, oh my god, you're in your underwear. How do I deal with this?
Like he's just rescued Emmy, and then he starts yelling at the enemy, and she's like, hold on, nope, no, I'm not here for this. And he like puts her down, and then she walks away, and then he starts his speech again.
Yeah. they really do have great moments hidden within this, and I think it was an old episode of the Whatnauts podcast, not a review show, but I did a podcast on One Punch Man, and I'm not a fan of One Punch Man. I like the joke, but that's it. It's just one joke, and it wears its welcome out in 5 minutes. And then they were like, we have multiple seasons of this show, and I was just like, oh, not fun. But it kind of reminded me that in a better way. Like, this is like they are doing more with the joke than One Punch Man did, but I didn't get enough of the joke, and I liked the joke well enough that it's just like, I want more of that. Give me more of that. And then it's not there. And then I think Mob Psycho 100, also made by the same guy who did One Punch Man, I think is like a step above that, where it's like, I loved that. They nailed it. All of the stuff that I wanted to see, the character moments, the comedy, the visual puns, and all of that stuff. Like, it was, they nailed it. But yeah, this I just kind of middling.
Yeah.
Like, I was ultimately disappointed, but it has some good stuff.
I think it's solid as just like a 13 episode quick watch. Like, you really do get a little bit of everything in this 13 episodes. You know, it's a decent value meal in that regard.
Yeah. The last thing that I will say of, like, I really wish we got more of this, was more of Alciel. Like, as much as I wanted to see Satan working up the ranks at McDonald's, I wanted to see Alciel being a housewife.
Because he takes everything, like even more than Lucifer does. He takes, than Satan does. I don't like that Satan and Lucifer are two separate people. He takes everything so seriously. Like, if he messes up, he's like on his knees. He's like, my Lord, I'm so ashamed.
I'm so sorry. He's not as bad as Dobby from Harry Potter, where he like punishes himself and like smashes his face in the oven. He's not that, but he does like profusely apologize. Like, I don't want to inconvenience you in any way. I'm so sorry. I failed you. But then, like, in the opening song, like, there's this. It's like the montage of all the characters, and there's this great moment of him doing the laundry and like shaking out the boxers, which I'm assuming are Satan's boxers, and he shakes them out, and the water comes out and it sparkles, and it's just this like it's so flamboyant, and I love it, and it's great. I want more of it.
What it reminded me of is like all the scene.
But he's also the straight man too.
I wanted him to be.
He's not flamboyant
even more
at all.
Of the Brock of the show, where he's like, just sort of this sensible straight man. He's the mom friend, but he takes the mom tasks like, he is going to be the best cook. He's going to do all the laundry. All your clothes are clean. Is your face clean? Here, let me clean your face. Like,
don't forget to wash behind your ears, Satan.
High energy mom friend, and he's just like flinging everything around, wearing a frilly apron, and he's just like a beautiful maestro of the home.
Yeah. But then, like, as much as the stuff he is doing might be considered traditionally feminine or stuff like that. Like he does not come off like that at all, and he does not begin to act that way. Anyway, like he is still just this like, I am your man.
Yes.
Servant. Like I am still a man. I am my own man, and when things need to get done, I will man up and be a man. But right now, I am folding your underwear.
I'm making sure Lucifer eats a vegetable.
Yeah. So that was good. I wish that there was more of him there. So, I don't know if I have too much else to say with this one. I think, despite me being fairly disappointed, I would say this is a fun one to talk about.
It has a lot of different facets to it.
Exactly. Did you have any last words you wanted to add on that one? Or should we go on to recommendations?
I have a couple recommendations. If you like the social aspect of this, if you like the crushes and the friendships and all that, you could watch an anime we watched last year called Watakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku, which I know, Kyle, you weren't as charmed by, but I thought it was adorable. It's just about this nerdy girl who goes to a new office and she's like, I'm not going to let anybody know I'm secretly like writing boys love doujinshi fan fiction. And there's like an old classmate of hers there, and he's like, hey, are you still into all that stuff? And she's like, no, don't tell anybody.
She's just like,
every boyfriend I've ever had has dumped me when they found out I'm this big of an otaku. And he's like, well, so am I. You know, I know that stuff about you and you don't care. And you know that stuff about me and I don't care. And you don't care about it. Like, let's date each other. This makes sense. It's logical for us to date each other. Yeah. And it's this like relationship of convenience where they do eventually fall in love with each other. That's cute. And if you want more workplace comedy, there's an anime called, I think, Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. I've only seen a couple episodes of this.
Another crazy name.
Yeah, it is it's a skeleton man who works in a bookstore, and like you know, he's not a skeleton man. There's no fantasy element to the story, but like every employee of the bookstore, because it's a guy who like wrote a comic based on his own life, everybody's head is obscured. So like this guy's got a skull for a head. Like his manager's wearing like a knight's helmet. Somebody else is like a big foam mascot head or a paper bag or a pumpkin. Like they're all normal people, but they all have got some sort of like face obscuring cartoon head. And it's just this like madcap hectic show, like fast-paced, like quippy, like 15-minute episodes about trying to manage a bookstore. I've only seen a couple of these.
That's funny.
It's one of the best workplace shows I've ever seen. It really captures that chaos to everything.
Okay. There you go. So let's see. I'm gonna recommend. Let's see. If you want more like slice of life comedy, Nichijou is a fantastic anime that I think you all should all check out. It veers more into magical realism, but it is very much normal people slice of life, and then just bonkers things happens. There's one skit where they're in class and one of the students gets sent out into the hall because they've been mouthing off. And while they're out in the hall, they have a view of the courtyard, and there's a deer there. And she's like, "Aw, look, it's a deer." And she goes up to the window and starts staring at it. And then all of a sudden, the principal comes walking up, takes off his jacket, and he's in like camo and a full like body, like bulletproof vest, and then starts wrestling with the deer. And she's the only one that sees
I like that he has to put on
and she's
traditional
just like,
hunting gear to not camouflage himself into the background so that he can shoot it, but to full on go up there, fist to fist, fist to hoof, wrestle the deer into submission.
yes, just like full on WWE SmackDown, and she's the only one that sees it, and she's just like, what is happening? Oh my god, does anyone else see? No, how you guys like it's happening right now. So I would recommend that, and then if you were more into the kind of like war going on, like the more fantasy stuff, I would actually recommend Full Metal Alchemist, because they do that stuff amazingly well. That's one of my favorite anime out there. I'm assuming if you're an anime fan already, you have already seen this, or at least know a lot about it. I highly recommend Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, be specific, because that one is a lot better than the original, in my opinion. But they're both good. So there you go. That's what I would recommend.
Okay. Yes.
Melissa, your turn to do some pitching. Before you mention that, I will say that, let's see, we're coming up at the end of the year here. We have, let's see, that's the boom. 2 more episodes after this. I have no idea what that was, but my computer.
Here you're frozen over here.
Oh well. I'm going to continue on. So yeah, we have 2 episodes left. The one that you're about to pitch, and then the one that I will pitch after that.
So last week I told you that there was a Japanese show I had heard about and really wanted to pitch. And so I'm like, I guess we'll just do something Japanese 2 weeks in a row, because I have my heart set on this thing, and you pitched me all anime and manga. And then I realized, oh no, this is my last slot for the year. I gotta do the holiday picks. This is it. This is the time. This Japanese show is gonna wait until 2020.
Holiday picks.
Which is perfect. 2020, year of the Tokyo Olympics. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So I have a selection of holiday movies for you, Kyle. Because they don't make many holiday TV shows. It's movies for you again. Okay. Pitch number 1 is the new Netflix animated movie, Klaus, I guess.
Okay.
Santa Claus.
Klaus.
And I don't know very much about this. I've seen a lot of commercials for it. It looks beautiful. And I know that it is all like 2D animated, but it's lit and shaded in such a way that it looks 3D. It's gorgeous looking in all the commercials. And it seems like a real, fun, sweet holiday movie that is this added level of being technically very impressive. And the little IMDb blurb for this says, "A simple act of kindness always sparks another, even in a frozen, faraway place. When Smearensburg's new postman Jesper befriends toymaker Claus," the classic Christmas nemesis, Smearensburg. "When Jesper befriends toymaker Claus, their gifts melt an age-old feud and deliver a sleigh full of holiday traditions." So that is pitch number 1. Pitch number 2 is a return from last year. This is the 1988 holiday movie Scrooged. This is directed by Richard Donner. This stars Bill Murray in a modern for 1988, a modern take on A Christmas Carol, where he plays a TV network executive who is trying to put on this live like, beam recorded live, beamed straight to your TV this Christmas Eve, this live production of A Christmas Carol. And the night of Christmas Eve, the night it's supposed to go live, and he has all this TV business to do, he's visited by all these ghosts reminding him about like every mistake he's made in the past. And spoiler alert, he does end up reconciling and trying to be a better person and making a big inspiring speech on nationwide live TV. Because there's not a version of the story where like he doesn't at the end, right? That's not a spoiler alert to say, hey, the Scrooge character, he does change his ways.
This Christmas movie ends bad.
That goose, as big as you, bring it to me to eat entirely alone in my cold, dark house. Finn.
The end.
This is a movie I didn't grow up with. Like, it was just like a little too old for me and I missed it. And so I didn't see it until a couple years ago. But it became like a really quick favorite of mine. This is a really fun and like really sincerely heartwarming movie. So we could watch Klaus. Okay. We could watch. I'm going to keep pronouncing it like, the German name and not Santa Claus. So we can watch Claus, Scrooged.
Yeah.
Or we can watch Gremlins. And Gremlins 2, the new batch. So Gremlins is a Christmas movie. Gremlins 2 is not. But Gremlins 2 is one of my absolute favorite films, I kid you not. I adore Gremlins 2. So this is just like piggybacking on the end of a holiday movie that I can sneak in here in December. So it's Gremlins. It's Christmas. And so Billy's dad brings him back for Christmas from this, trip to China. He brings him back, or it might be a Chinatown. I don't remember where he goes. But he comes back with this little creature, and he gives him...
From Chinatown.
But he gives it to Billy, and he says, this little creature is called a Mogwai. I thought it'd make a cool pet. The old man told me there's 3 rules you must never break. Don't get it wet. Don't expose it to bright light, and never feed it after midnight. And wouldn't you know it, he breaks all of those rules. And the cute little furry Mogwai sprouts all these nasty, scaly gremlins that run amok and tear apart this innocent little town on Christmas. And then in Gremlins 2, they do the same, but in a New York skyscraper that is like part business office, part TV studio, part mall, part everything. Like the whole second movie takes place in this one mega building. It's really fun. I love the mega building. More movies set in mega buildings, please. So we could...
You have Mega Mind, and then there's Mega Building.
So we could watch Claus, we could watch Scrooged, or we could watch Gremlins, and the non-Christmas related bonus, Gremlins 2, the new batch.
I actually want to do Gremlins.
Okay.
I've never seen them, any of them. But I did not know that the first one is a Christmas, or takes place during
it does
Christmas. So I think that's
the first one does. The second one does not. So I thought it'd be interesting to watch a series of movies where one is Christmas and one has absolutely nothing to do with the topic.
You almost could have, like, if you wanted a theme of that, you could have done that. You could have done Die Hard. And then there has to be something else that, like, the first one
well, Shazam 2 hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I kind of want to do Gremlins.
Okay, I own this on a Blu-ray, as you see here. It's a bundle copy with Goonies.
Who would have thunk that those would be
bundled
bundled?
I don't know. Well, they're all
together.
Like 80s family, adventure comedies that start with G. Steven Spielberg produced all of these also. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have this on Blu-ray, so I didn't look up where you could find it, but I'm certain the Gremlins movie's got to be somewhere.
Did Am I what was I thinking? Is it a Disney movie?
No, these are
What am I
Warner
thinking of?
Brothers.
No, okay. Never mind then. There was something on Disney Plus that when all of the announcement stuff came out, you were like, "Oh my god, it's gonna have something," and I thought it was Gremlins, but I guess I don't know what.
I don't know.
Heck,
maybe they have small soldiers. Who knows? Oh yeah, Gremlins 1,
who knows?
FYI. Gremlins 1 is from 1984. Gremlins 2 is from 1990. And they are both directed by Joe Dante, who, as previously mentioned, is the director of Small Soldiers, which is another, like, really solid, underrated movie. If you haven't seen Small Soldiers, get that into your life also.
I've seen Small Soldiers once, not once. I think I saw it in theaters, but I don't remember. I don't know. Anyways, that is what we will be doing for this next week. Gremlins 1 and 2. Join us. Follow along at home. Do all of that stuff. Melissa, where can they find you
You
on
can
the
find
internet?
me on Twitter and Instagram at WilkyWit. That's WILKYWIT.
You can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram. We are at the Whatnauts on Twitter if you guys want to stay up to date with all of our shows. Go like, share, subscribe. Leave us a review. Go follow us on YouTube. thewhatnauts.com/YouTube. I think will take you right there to our thing. With that being said, this has been episode 86 of the Whatnauts Review Show. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for checking out our show. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite part of Devil Part-Timer was. If you agreed with us that you wanted to see more of him at MgRonald's or not, or if you guys were into all the church fighting stuff. In the meantime, go subscribe to our channel right up there, because we got a whole bunch more videos like this one down here in this corner for you guys to check out. Go click on those. Hopefully you guys will like those ones too. With that said, till next time, bye.